We're just going to look a little more closely at sashing and borders. We've touched on these, but we're going to look at how we can make more use of all these border options, because there's a whole range of options that we have here. Now, we're not always going to want to just use horizontal strips for our borders. Sometimes we might want to do this. So let's increase this. So you see that because I've got this size lock here, that means that all sizes, whenever I change one of these sliders, it changes it on all sides. So you know that your borders are always going to be on equal sides. Now here we've got 3. See, this refers to how many blocks I've got. So 3 diamonds here on the horizontal and 3 diamonds on the vertical. Now you can change those. And you see how they're changing. Okay, so we've changed them now to 6. So we can add additional borders, and you see that EQ is adding the borders outside the ones that we've already got. So this particular border, I might want to have something like so. So that's got a preset size, so it's defaulted to that particular size. Now you'll see that as you add borders, and you can add up to 100 borders at a time, though normally you wouldn't want to use that many, but if you were doing a round robin where you started with perhaps a medallion square in the middle and then every person added a row around it, you may have quite a large number of borders. Here you can just keep adding whatever suits, and you'll see that the quilt size is adjusting every time you add another border. Your quilt is having it added on automatically. Now some of these options you'll see are with a default size, and that means that you're not going to be able to alter those. So that's just the size that it's going to show. But what you can do here is that while the vertical is grayed out, you can change the number of blocks in your border here. You see that that's available. So that's something that we can do. There's a whole lot of different options in here, and each time you select which border you're working on, it's highlighted so that you know that whatever you're doing and any adjustments you're making relates to the highlighted border. Now another area that's important is sashing, and come up with our layout. We may want to have some sashing. Now the sashing is going to relate to here. So let's, using the slider, we've got some sashing in here. Now you'll see that at the moment I've only got sashing running vertically because I haven't told EQ7 to keep the width and the height equal. So if I tell it to do that, then it is going to, you'll see that the numbers are moving here in conjunction with one another. Now sashed border means you've got one around the outside as well. So have a play with some border styles and some sashing styles. Have a look at what happens when you move your sliders, because remember we were doing it all on screen, and therefore you can't make any mistakes. You can go backwards if you don't like what you've done, but it's a good exercise to play with the number of blocks. How does it look if you change these things? Does it look better? Does it look worse? and what happens when you tick on the boxes or when you adjust your sashing. So have a play around and see how your virtual quilt looks with some of these options in place.